Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carbra, and welcome back to the series where I teach you how to build Discord.pybot for your server. Today we are talking about scheduled tasks and leveling systems. Chances are this is probably going to be a fairly long video, even though we are only building some fairly basic leveling systems, but the problem is experienced systems and servers are actually quite complex and convoluted, so it's a bit odd. But we're going to be dealing with that after we've dealt with our scheduled stuff. So immediately off the bat, we're actually going to have to bring in some new imports. Just straight up, boof, already a new import. Your AP scheduler library that you imported is going to come in very handy here. Of course, if you did not import that at the time, you'll need to go back and do it now, unless you don't want to do any scheduling of any kind. So for example, if you want to commit the database after every action regardless, then you won't need to do this bit at all. But because we're creating an autosave system, because it's just the easiest and most efficient way of doing it really, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but it's just a bit nicer. We'll need to do it. And we're also doing a scheduled message as well that happens every 12 hours or so, maybe 24, probably 24. You won't want it to repeat too much. We're also going to need to define a new object called scheduler. You can do this somewhere else, because you don't really need to access this outside of the start sequence, but we'll just put it there anyway in case you want to do anything with it. So where did I'm just trying to find where I put that little function. If indeed I put it anywhere. I put it there. Okay, cool. So we have our database commit function. As you can see, it is an asynchronous function. As you can see, we've created an asynchronous input-output scheduler. So what this is, it's essentially a scheduler that takes asynchronous functions. It's the only one that does, and it's the only way you're really going to be able to do it. I don't know if this takes non-asynchronous functions. To be honest, I've never tried. So feel free to experiment. If you do experiment and report back, it would be really interesting to know. We're going to quickly, we don't actually need to be an asynchronous. Create a function down here called start scheduled, just so we can start everything after the bot has logged in and everything's all instantiated. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our job of committing the database. So database.commit, and then we want the cron trigger, and second equals 0. So what this happens, so what this means is okay. One thing I will say before we get into this, I don't know how to pass arguments or keyword arguments to functions using this. I really have no idea. You might need to use the decorator if you're doing that, which I think might be like, it's probably not this exactly, but it's something like this. It's probably something like that actually. Would it? No, it'd probably take the cron trigger actually. It'd probably be like that. Maybe. I don't know, I haven't done too much research into it, and the documentation for AP Scheduler is very, very basic. They tell you only what you need to know. They do not go into details. What this means is that our database commit function will be fired every minute, is what this is saying. So basically, every single time the second value is 0, it'll work. I believe this checks every second. I'm not really sure how it works. In theory, it would only fire once. Sometimes it does fire more than once, but in this case it doesn't really matter. So that'll fire it every minute because every other possible argument is set to all. So it will happen every hour, every minute, every day of the week, every month, but it will only happen on the 0th second of every minute. And then we're going to add a job of a function we haven't written yet. which we will get around to doing after I've done this. Just send rules reminder, just to add a bit of, just to show you how you do this really. So we're going to set that arrow equals 12, so it fires at 12, equals 0, second equals 0. I believe this takes your computer's time as God, really. I think you can set this if you want it in UTC. I think that works. I can't remember the exact syntax for that. I can't remember the syntax for the considerably worse way of setting this up, but never mind. Yeah, if you're doing it, you can do like having in cron and then set like a cron expression, which is like and then that, without obviously this bit at the end. If you do it like that and you export it as an exe, for some reason that just won't work. It won't be able to do that, and it's a far worse way of doing it anyway. This is a far better way of doing it. Believe it or not, the docs don't actually tell you can do this. I had to work this out myself. The amount of time I spent looking through the bloody source code of this library is insane, because the docs are awful. So if you work on that project, please rewrite your documentation so it actually tells you how to use the thing. Thanks, I'd appreciate it. But that'll be fine, and then we need to go down to our onReady before I actually forget, because I inevitably will, and start all the scheduled tasks after the database has updated. Just real quick, gonna do our little thing here. Start sked. No, send rules reminder, and then we don't need any arguments there. And this will literally be just await get.channel. Oh my god. General. Do I have? I do have the maybe dot send, and then I just have a message that I'm going to copy and paste in here because I want to write this all out. Basically saying, remember to adhere to the server rules. Swing by the rules, and it will mention the rules channel room to refresh yourself if needed. And that's all you need to send scheduled messages. From here, for every message, you probably want a new function. And then set it here. It depends if you want different times, but yeah. So that's all you need to do for the scheduling stuff. It's fairly easy once you get your head around how the scheduler actually works. Again, if you're using a schedule library, I'm not sure it supports asynchronous stuff. If it does, let me know, and I'll make a little addendum at the end of this whole series saying that it does, because the schedule library is really cool. The syntax of it is really cool, but it doesn't work for asynchronous stuff, so it's useless to me, which is unfortunate. I'm just trying to find where, there it is. So we're going to be doing our leveling system next. We're actually going to go down here, and we're going to set our function at the bottom first before we actually write it, because apparently that's the way I'm doing this now. So down here, if the message author is not a bot and there are no swear words in the message, we are going to add XP to the user, and all of our kind of we are going to build a rate limiter, we are going to build a level up announcement system. All of that logic is going to be dealt with in this function. It's just easier to just have a one function and deal with all of it up here. So this is going to be a very simple leveling up system. The ones I've built in the past are more complicated than this, but the difference is that they are unnecessarily complicated. After having built this one, I realised how kind of arse backwards I really got the system. Holy shit. I did not want to do that. I might bleep out that swearing also. Kind of want us to be as clean as possible, really. Oh god. So we're gonna add XP, and we're gonna take the message because we need all sorts of message attributes for this one. This is where our XP locked in till time comes in useful. So we are actually going to need to... Yeah, what I'm about to do next is... it's not going to be easy to explain. I'll try my best, but I imagine I'm going to get a number of people commenting, asking what the hell is going on here. So this timestamp here, if we were to take that timestamp out directly from Python, it would be a string. It would be a string exactly as you see it now. We ideally don't want that. We need it either to be a timestamp, or a Unix timestamp, so just a number of seconds, or a datetime object. And we're going to convert it to a datetime object, because to convert it to a timestamp, you need to essentially convert this to a datetime object first, more or less. I think you might be able to. Actually, you probably could convert it into Unix time, but we're going to use a datetime object because it's probably the better way of doing it anyway. Really. So yeah, we're going to have our XP locked until, and this is going to look weird. So we're going to have datetime. So this isn't a datetime library. This is a datetime package inside the datetime. It's a weird one. A datetime library is bizarre. String pass time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pass in as our first variable our database timestamp from here. So to grab that, we need to do database.execute select XP locked until from users where user ID equals that, and then we need to give it the message.author.id. And then we need to specify the format which this string is in, using there's like a table that you can grab with all these different variables in it, and all percentages. So we need the year, including the century. We need the month as a 0 padded decimal number. We need the day as a 0 padded decimal number. Then we need a space. Then we need the hour as a 0 padded decimal number, the minute as a 0 padded decimal number, and the second as a 0 padded decimal number. So if you look here again at the thing, you'll see that our year has 4 digits and it's separated by hyphens, and they're all 0 padded, and yeah. So this will convert it into a datetime object. So a datetime object contains a number of different variables. So you can immediately grab the day, you can grab the month, the year, the times. It's essentially a little nicer than Unix time, because you can do more with it. With Unix time, you have to pretty much convert it into a datetime object to be able to grab any of this stuff anyway, which is something you'll want to do because obviously all the effort has already been done for you with the datetime library, which is an absolute mess. Oh, whoever coded this, I salute you. You are madmen of this world, and mad women, mad people, crazy people. You are insane. So yeah, thankfully we can actually just do standard things. So we can do equals, we can do less than against other datetime objects, and it will just work. So that's really useful. So we're going to create an object called datetime.now. Now that creates another datetime object that is the current date time, if that wasn't already obvious. So what we're saying is if this time here is less than our system time, then do all these things. We are going to compensate for the fact that I am 1 hour ahead of Universal Coordinated Time for this, but when we put it on a VPS, we're going to need to change all that back out, because it's just weird, and we have to do it when we can't do it when a member joins, but we can do it when we update a member's thing. So I really hope that made sense. That was actually a far clearer explanation than I was ever hoping to be able to get out. So I get that's probably still confusing in some aspects, because it's just it's a weird one to get working, but once you've done it, you might work it out. So we want to create a random number. In this case, we're doing it between 5 and 20, hence the 21. That is, I've done that on purpose. There, we don't want date time. We want to modify the database. So actually using the update, set xp equals xp plus that. So what that will do is it will grab the value of xp, you'll add the value we're passing into it, and then set that as the xp. And then we need to do that where the user ID equals this. So we need to pass in xp add as well as message.author.id, which will be placed in order. Are we still following? Yeah, leveling systems are not the easiest thing. They're incredibly commonplace, but they're not easy to work out at all. I'm probably going to go back and rework some of my old leveling systems so they actually look more like this. So we can actually use an SQL datetime function now to set the XP locked until to be now, and then plus 60 seconds. I think you can do 1 minute. I don't know, but I didn't test that, and I don't particularly want to. I know 60 seconds, but you can test 1 minute if you want. But yeah, that's what you actually need to do, where user ID equals that, and since this line is getting really long, we're actually going to put this on the line below, message.author.id. So this will input a time 60 seconds into the future of our thing. For my time zone, I'm going to need to add 3,660 seconds to add the extra hour just to get it to work while I'm showing you. Although I don't really know how I'm really going to be able to show you. I haven't worked that out yet. It's a bit awkward to do. I might change, while we're doing this, I might change the schedule so that the database commits every second, just so I can show you updates a lot quicker. But if you're in a different time zone, and for now you might need to do, like if you're 3 hours ahead, you would need to do this. At least for now. If you put it on the VPS, you'll need to get rid of that, and you won't have to worry about that. And then obviously for your time zone behind, you do minus and whatever. Of course, that does create issues when you're creating a database, because you will actually need to use SQL if you live in a time zone that is behind GMT. So if you're in America, you'll actually need to really learn the SQL behind all this. Unless you want to change your computer's time to universal coordinated time, which might be the easier option. Really. As time zones suck, and databases are completely naive to them. And it's kind of bizarre, but I guess it just works. So we're going to have I'm actually starting to mess my own head up right now. So we're going to have another function called checkLevelUp, which will do all the calculations for whether or not a user has leveled up or not. Now there are 2 ways you can do a formula. The first is the simplest way, and it's the way I'm going to show you, and it's the way I would wish I'd done it the first time, because this is a lot easier. I've actually done it now. So we've got XP and current level. We need to actually grab that from the database. So we're going to do database.oneRecord. Select XP and level from users. Where user ID equals a question markio. Question mark Marco Pierre Polo, is that his name? What's his name? I think I've just confused like the chef Marco Pierre with Marco Polo or something. I don't know what I'm doing. That was an interesting one. Yeah, I'm definitely just gone completely out of it right in this level up system, my god. So your new level, we're going to set as XP divided by 100. So this is the first way of doing it. You can set your new level relative entirely by your XP. So what this is doing, this is an incredibly simple one. it divides your XP by 100, and whatever it comes out with is your new level. This is obviously an integer division. You can, if for some reason that doesn't work, you can do that, and that'll work 100% of the time. Because this always only used to, I think this used to return a float, but I think they might have changed that in future Python versions. Because I actually stopped using it for a long time because it started returning floats. I was like, okay, I don't want floats, thanks. Yeah, so say for example your level is 1,200. So say for example you have 1,200 XP. This will conclude that your level is 12. If you have 1,250 XP, it will conclude that your level is 12. If you have 1,299 XP, it will conclude that your level is 12. Only if you have 1,300 XP will it conclude that your level is 13. You can do more exponential stuff, so you can do XP to the power of 1.1. So level 1 you would need, well, you probably want to do a bit more than that actually. You probably want to do maybe like XP plus, oh no, no, your XP times 1.1. You wouldn't want to do that at all, would you? You'd want to square root it, really, because that would mean that your level is high. Yeah, you'd want to square root it, so you would want to import math and do math.square root of, I guess, XP, and then put a formula in here or something. For now, we're just going to stick with the linear XP divided by 100 because it's easier. If new level, and also the good thing about this is that it supports going at multiple levels at once, just natively. The way I always did it was I had a formula where you plugged the level in as a variable, and it would return the amount of XP needed to get to that level, and then I would compare the user's XP with that level, with that number, and if it was higher than they have that level. It's not a great way of doing it. It works, but this is better, I would say. Database.execute update, so we want to users set level equals that, and because you can level up more than one, I mean, okay, I'm only doing this in case you want to have like XP rewards for stuff. If the XP adder means that it's basically completely impossible to level up more than once, you can do, I've changed my cursor type, this isn't good, insert does that, it's very annoying. You can do that, where you just have level equals level plus 1, and it will just add 1 to level, but because we technically can support new level assignments or multiple level ups at once, then I'm just going to do it like this. And if you want, you can have your level up announcement saying await either message dot, well, you can do a get dot channel and then like say have general and have just the general thing. What most bots do is probably most likely because it's easier and you don't have to do any settings for it. Have message dot channel dot send, and then I'll just copy and paste this in again, saying congratulations message.author.mention, you're now level, and then the level. So this works all fine and dandy. I have tested this before I ran it just in case. Actually showing you is going to be really rather difficult. Hang on, I'm actually going to change. I would not recommend doing this yourself, but I'm just going to release the cron trigger, meaning that will happen every single second. It'd be really embarrassing if I've got an error now. But as you can see, in our database, my XP lock is 21, 15, 30. So if the time is greater, if we're further along in time than the time stored in this box, I should be able to gain XP. So if I just do a, I don't know, hello, for example. We errored, didn't we? Datetime was no attribute X. Oh, I've done a typo. I've done an untypo. That's not good. Where have I done that? There it is. There you go. Turns out it was embarrassing. Hey, I wasn't going to get through that without erroring, really, was I? So I think the database stayed the same. It did. So if I type hello again, wait, error again? Did I do the same typo again? Argument 1 must be string, not none. SOA? Well, that didn't happen before. Oh. Made another typo. It's fine. No one sees. No one sees. Need to actually grab a field, not just execute the command and just return out none. So if I do just hello, for God's sake, we're not errored this time. And you can see my XP lock goes up. So I have 18 XP. I got really lucky on that one actually, and I got a bit lucky. As you can see by the time, that is a time in the future. So if I was to send another message, like yay, my XP value would not increase, because my XP lock is still set to a time in the future. The moment that time that elapses, I'm then able to receive XP again. And once I receive 100 XP, I will level up. So I'm just going to quickly modify the code so I only need 1 XP to level up. Just so you can actually see the level up message in action. I will change it all back. Level me up, boy. Maybe I just need it twice. Oh, I think I'm still XP locked actually. Yeah, I was. Level me up. There we go. See, I leveled up 23 levels at once. I kind of forgot that was going to happen. So yeah, that's both proof that level up message works, and you can actually level up multiple times at once. Oh man. Alright, so that was 26 minutes, that's not too bad. I was expecting to take a bit longer than that. I'm going to reset my program so it's actually not just a meme fest over here. And I think I'm still like properly set that, aren't I? Yeah, level 23 XP 23. Big oof. I'm gonna get rid of that just for future sakes. But yeah, that'll do it for the scheduling system and the leveling system. Again, if you have any feedback, I'd really love to know in the comments below. If you have any questions, I will try and answer them all, unless someone has answered them already. I'm hoping you're learning something about this, because yeah, building Discord bots is fun and it's cool, and you can mod your server and you can make your server so much better with them. But yeah, I'll see you next. What are we doing next? I always forget what we're doing next. Looks like database oriented auto moderation. So we're going to be muting people next time. Way. And this is, we'll probably do a really basic implementation of strikes or something. We'll see. But yeah, I'll see you hopefully tomorrow for that. There's a chance I might not have time to do more videos before then. We'll see. I do try and get one out one a day at least for this series, and then when the series ends, I'll be a bit of a break for the next one. But if there is ever a point where I don't get one out the next day, then it's just because I haven't had time, for whatever reason. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, but if I don't, I'll see you whenever. But until then.